Hello, hello. Check. I have a sleeping baby strapped to my chest, so you'll have to excuse me if he wakes up. He's going to be my top priority, of course. No, I'm still not allowed to show him off to the camera, but I can prove to you he's a real baby. Let's see if I can show you a foot. Here we go. Where's that foot? No, I can't prove anything to you. Let's see. I'm your little baby foot. There's a baby foot. Okay. So yeah, he's 3 months old and 3 months and a week now, just about. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. So I apologize too if I'm not talking that loud. I don't want to wake him up, although, babies sometimes really like the sound of your voice. So I've got fans on us, and I'm sitting on a bouncy ball, if you're wondering why I'm going up and down. So again, I apologize for any inconveniences, but I thought it would be worth it to you guys just to see a baby foot and to say hello on 4th of July, Independence Day, and to clear up some of the stuff that I left undone in my last video. So I've got my little notebook in case I need that. Help me, Obi-Wan Kanobi, you're our only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kanobi, you're my only hope. So that was the thing I was thinking of towards the end of my video yesterday that I was having trouble pulling up. And I was like, I could rewind my live while I'm live and remember what it was I was about to say by watching the last couple of minutes of what I was saying. And I've done that once, and that was funny AF. It's very cool. Like, how cool is that type of technology? And, we can all do that probably with our cell phones now when we're having a conversation and we're like, oh, wait, I forget where I was going with that. And then you can just rewind the conversation on your phone, take it back a couple minutes and go, oh, yeah, right. I remember what it was now, instead of having to wait a couple of days or never remembering. Anyway. Yeah, technology, it's got its perks for sure. But the other big thing, so Elon, the big E, is in a sense our only hope. I mean, not really. Of course, we're America, right? We are our hope, and not our only hope. There's a lot of good nations on our planet that I think are going to fight the good fight against fascism and against the gator ghouls, as I just saw somebody's thumbnail said something about the gator ghouls, and I was like, that's perfect. I need to mention that on my video. So let's see. So yeah, the other big thing I forgot to mention yesterday was that I now have merch. So I put the link to the merch shop in yesterday's description. It's towards the top, and I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna have to iron out a lot of bugs, but I think that you can go ahead and order merch right now if you want. It's pretty cool Statue of Liberty images, so you can get t-shirts, mugs, hats, bags, whatever you want, stickers. And I don't think that it says JusticeAtooZ on it yet. I tried. Hey, Patricia Moss, you saw the baby foot. I know, I got to prove that I really am a grandma. There's a baby foot. There's the proof. Prove it. Prove it. He's so tiny. So, yes, I've been trusted with him in front of the camera. I was told I'm absolutely not allowed to put his face on the camera. I swore up and down that I wouldn't, that he would just be a big lump. So, it's smart with, military and facial recognition and all that stuff. I mean, technology is moving by leaps and bounds. So probably even like a baby image on the computer at 3 months old would be able to do a facial recognition in a few years of somebody at any age, right? I mean, it's moving quickly. Oh, sorry. Another thing that I did remember correctly on my video yesterday that I wanted to verify because I was able to look it up, and it's fascinating. Okay, I was talking about the company in Austin, Texas that Kaylee G had done an internship at and had accepted a job from. It's a high-tech security company called Extreme Networks, and they have scrubbed themselves from this case, from the Idaho 4 case. I personally always take note of the scrubbing. To me, when something is scrubbed, that's information right there. That's very relevant information. Why would they want their name scrubbed? The information technology just so happens to be the same field that Kaylee G's dad, Gonzo, he works as the IT specialist for Kootenai Health Community Hospital, I think is the name of it. It's the Kootenai County Hospital, and he's like the lead IT guy. So very interesting, especially with securities, especially with Doge right now. I don't know about you guys, but my health, let's see, not my health insurance, but my health system. I live in the greater Miami area of Ohio, where Kettering Health Networks is the medical system that has bought up like every single hospital. There's only one other competitor. I think it's, is it Premier? It's like Miami Valley Hospital is part of it. I want to say that one is called Premier. But anyway, Kettering Health Networks is the main medical system in the greater Miami area. And their system got hijacked. It got pirated. It was being held for ransom for millions of dollars, starting somewhere around early June. I don't know the exact date, but the reason why it's so relevant is that they refused to pay the ransomware fines, and they have rebuilt their system from the ground up so that they didn't have to play into the games of these criminals. But, you know, I was in a little fender bender back in December, and the insurance company that the person driving the other car that rear-ended me used, it's called Erie Insurance. Their system was also hijacked on early June, and I think it was June 2nd. So I just spoke with them the other day. I happened to find out about Kettering Health Systems and Erie Car Insurance Company right around the same time, because about a month ago, when it first happened with both of them, I happened to be in touch with them, and it sounded like it had only been like a day or two that they were having problems and that it would be resolved quickly. You know, the way systems sometimes have hiccups. And then it turned into like a month for each of them. And then I got to thinking in my humble conspiracy theory brain, allegedly, I wonder if those two are connected. I wonder if it's connected to Doge and Big Balls and all of those weirdos that got into all of the most critical, confidential and sensitive information in our country. Interesting that right after that, these big companies are getting pirated, basically, or are getting held up with ransomware. And the car insurance company was very defensive about it. And, you know, I was asking too many questions, and they just like read me their spiel. Basically, it was like, shut the F up. Don't ask questions. Don't ask, don't tell. Anyway, it's probably just me and my conspiracy theories. Let me just say that everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something, be educational. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an infotainment platform. Please hit your like button if you would be so kind. Make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed, and turn on your notification bell to ring. Share a video of mine with somebody that you think might like my channel. Patricia Moss, how are you, my dear? And if you want to share what state you're in, if you're still here, please do. So yeah, I thought it was really wild that the Extreme Networks information technology company from Austin, Texas, that was hiring Kaylee G. I was fascinated with the fact that they scrubbed themselves out of the case. And in one of the articles that I read that's more recent, it even said something like the information systems technology firm that hired Kaylee G that has not wanted to be mentioned with this case, or something to that effect. I'm not doing a good job of quoting it, but you know what I mean. Like, they have gotten themselves scrubbed off the internet. That's why I couldn't find it when I was Googling yesterday. I was like, oh, what company was it that offered her a job? And I was trying to Google like Kaylee Gonzalez, Austin, Texas, job offer, information technology. And I was like, is it Excite? Or a minute later, I was like, Extreme. So yes, it is called Extreme Networks, and they're being extremely squirrely about being mentioned with this case. And yeah, it's bad for business, for any type of business to be mentioned with any type of violence. However, it was common knowledge in the Idaho fort that, sorry, I keep hitting things. I'm in a different spot, as you can tell. I'm like lower down and I'm closer up. So I'm hitting one of my lampshades. Hopefully the lighting's not so terrible. I've noticed lately I've been a little bit too orange or something. So I have like green light, blue light, trying to neutralize it. Anyway, so Extreme Networks, very fascinating. We've got the whole Idaho 4 case should be, they should know everything about the case through information technology systems. Remember with the Idaho 4 case that the town of Moscow and the campus of the University of Idaho went dark the night that this quadruple homicide happened. So that's always been a mystery. There's always been a question too about Brent Kopaka maybe working for the information technology system of the University of Idaho. I don't remember where that rumor came from, and I don't know if it had any real grounding, any truth to it. But it's an interesting question. Like, who was in charge of the information technology system? Who was in charge of the internet connection? And why did it go dark that night? Was it down? Was the internet down during the time of the homicides? And with everybody's freaking cell phone, everybody's freaking Apple Watch, with everybody's freaking Ring doorbell cam, with everybody's cars with computer chips in them or SIM cards or what have you, we should be able to know the entire story of exactly who, what, where, when, how, and why, simply based on the electronic data. And I've gone to look at that file many times. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's extremely gargantuan, the file for the Idaho 4 case. It's absurd. It's completely insane how huge it is. And it's even more insane that they didn't take it to trial and that they offered somebody that heinous, allegedly, a plea deal. Like, why? Why would you do that? Right now, I'm just so frustrated by commentators that haven't done a deep dive on Idaho 4 because they're so busy with so many other cases, puffing up their chest saying, I told you so. I agree, Patricia Moss. Like, I'm not convinced that he's innocent. I'm not convinced that he's guilty. I'm simply not convinced either way. I am convinced that there's a lot of shady crap in that case, and that there has been from day one, and that it makes no sense to offer him a plea deal. Zero. And yeah, I've noticed that too, that the channels that are just reporting like, oh yeah, he's guilty and we always knew that, right? It's like those channels, from what I've seen, have not gotten a lot of details on the cases accurate, that they've just skimmed over, even back when it happened a couple 2.5 years ago, that they just weren't following it closely. There were so many bizarre, strange things about the case. And I'll go back to what I was saying yesterday, which is something that I've been saying consistent for over 2 years now, is that the knife sheath being clean of any fingerprints and any DNA other than that single source strand DNA in the back of the snap that was not found by the Idaho lab. It was allegedly found by the Texas lab, Othram. These are extremely important details because the knife sheath, which I believe shipped via the mail from Idaho to Texas, that's legal for law enforcement to do, believe it or not. I mentioned this yesterday because it's in the custody of the United States Postal Service, which is considered government. So it's still like in the chain of custody that's acceptable. However, when you're dealing with like the crime of the century and one of the worst crimes of probably not only our country, but the world, I would think that somebody would have driven that knife sheath from Idaho to Texas. I feel a setup. Patricia, I first read that as it saying, I feel set up. Yeah, it's common. It's weird how a lot of people think that setups don't happen. They feel like people don't get framed, that that's all conspiracy theory. And it's not conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy when there are framings going on, when there's people colluding, when there's people orchestrating, when there's people, setting things up, organized collusion, or at least others were involved. And eCurbs says, LOL, now you have the crown that says #1. That is wild. We were trying to figure out what that is, eCurb, if you know. That purple sticker next to your comment, because Fred Field had that a day or two ago, and even he didn't know what it was. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. Woohoo! Yeah, you win. So yeah, I've got a sleeping baby right here that I cannot show you his face, but I can show you his tiny baby foot, maybe. See if I'm up higher. I don't know what it is. Oh, yeah, isn't that weird? Maybe somebody knows what it is. I was up higher and I could see the baby feet. So I was like, cool, I can show off his baby feet. But then I sunk down lower because I got the yoga ball to bounce him on instead of just the spinny seat to spin him in. So there's his toes. Don't eat up the baby toes. They're really good dipped in butter, right? But it's kind of hot out, so I have like 3 fans on us and just bouncing him, and he's just a sweetie pie. My first grandbaby. Okay, so a little bit more personal too. I mentioned the other day my husband and how cute he was in his wife beater when we were in our 20s. So I found a picture of him in his wife beater that I was referring to. It's a Banana Republic brand, I'll have you know. I got it on clearance, and I got 2 of them, or maybe even more. I remember that one. It's like purple and green stripes, and then I got him a white one. And it's just like hilarious, isn't it? He's such a youngster in that picture. Is it out of focus? Is it in focus? Let's see. He's doing this. He's quite the comedian. He always was. There you can kind of see it. And he's got his cute, funny, kind of John Lennon glasses on. Kind of got a trucker tan because I think he was working construction at the time. And what else? he's got like the Christian Slater look with those John Lennon glasses and his hair slicked back. It was around the time of that movie Heathers, and all the ladies thought he looked like Christian Slater. Like every time we went out to eat or went to the bank or the grocery store, anybody that, like a female that was interacting with us, would get like all giggly and blush, and they'd have their friends come over to check out the dude. It was so funny. Is Christian Slater still alive? I don't know if he is. I know he kind of went downhill. Let me check. And it looks like I got a text from one of the kids. Okay. About the baby. And let's see. Christian Slater. Let's see what it says. Help me, Obi-Wan Kanobi. You're my only hope. Christian Slater. Okay, he is still alive. He's 55 years old. His birthday's August 18th, 1969. That's hilarious. He's the exact same age as my hubby. He was born in 69 also. Yeah, I think he's had a rough life. I think he's had a rough go at it. It looks like he has 2 kids, and he's been married twice. Was he married to a guy? So it says he was married, maybe a female named Ryan Hayden from 2000 to 2006. And then Brittany Lopez, they've been married since 2013. So like 12 years. No, Ryan Hayden is a girl. Sorry. I was like, that's wild. Okay. And she's very good looking. She's a producer known for FBI Most Wanted. That's cool. Anyway, let's set that down. It's always interesting the things you find out when you're looking for one thing, but you find something else out. Like I was just trying to find out if Christian Slater was even alive. And yes, he is. And then to find out that his ex-wife worked on the FBI America's Most Wanted files. Right up my alley, right? Love that photo. This time he doesn't have sunglasses on. What a cutie in that wife beater. Well, he has, I'll show you one more time. They're slightly tinted. They're like those polarized, is that how you say it? He always had the polarized glasses. And so they're very, very lightly tinted. And then if he went inside, they'd get darker. And then, yeah, then he'd really look like Christian Slater, because not only did he have his hair slicked back like and long on top, his hair was a lot lighter than Christian Slater's. It's not focusing on him, is it? Stupid cameras. There. Is that better? The lighting, the camera, lights, camera, action. So you can kind of see, I think, his glasses are slightly tinted. You would think that they would have been a lot darker, because you can tell he's standing in a garage, like at the mall in Seattle. And I guess it was well lit in the garage, or maybe we were like close to some sunlight. Because, yeah, they should have been... Well, no, what am I talking about? My brain is working backwards. That's what dyslexia does to you. When you're in a well-lit area, they're going to get darker. And when you're in a shadowed area, they're going to get lighter. Duh, right? Oh, life with dyslexia can be very challenging, especially when you're on camera and then everything is flipped around. And everything's flipped around in your brain. Like, I mean, I'm in my late 50s and I still get my left and my right confused pretty much daily. I'll admit it. It's hilarious. But, you know, I get by. I do pretty well. Anyway, so were there other things I wanted to wrap up? And anything you guys want to talk about, please talk away. The blasphemous bill that passed I just can't even look at the news the last 24 hours. I try not to. I really am trying to dodge it. It's not my cup of tea at all. It's crazy. It's disgusting. It's just unfathomable. People say about this administration that cruelty is the point, and I really believe that. I really believe that cruelty is the point, that they get some kind of satisfaction from hurting people, from torturing people, and even from the lives of people ending. And it doesn't matter. They're like terrorists, in my opinion. They don't care if it's a pregnant woman. They don't care if it's a small child that has cancer. They don't freaking care. They don't care if it's a nursing baby that they're separating from the mom. It's absolutely nuts. It's disgusting. And when does it stop? Like, when can I might sound like a broken record, but when can we get to the election hygiene? Why was this election not validated and verified the way every election is? When can we have due process? Because nothing about the 2024 presidential election passes the smell test, in my opinion. Nothing. I mean, we all saw the signs of, like, the campaign rallies being very poorly attended. The candidate for the Republican ticket simulating oral sex on a freaking microphone when he was supposed to be trying to sell himself to the American public as the best candidate for president. Like, give me an effing break. And then talking about how well hung his old friend Arnie Palmer is. Like, really? Nobody wanted that for president. I know there's a few people that did, but he did not win that election. And more and more information is coming out, I feel like, daily. I feel like it's getting closer to mainstream. It's getting spoken about on larger channels. It's really frustrating to me, and this is one of the reasons why I'm pissed as crap with MeidasTouch, is they're a huge alternative channel, and they're part of, like, the leadership of grassroots reporting on the news, basically. And Jessica Denson was one of their reporters, and in my opinion, she was the very best one that they had. And then when the election happened, no, it was even prior to the election happening. It wasn't even about the cheating on the election. It was more about the fact that she was trying to push her agenda that Trump was not a viable candidate for presidency because he had been convicted of the insurrection. He'd been convicted of being an insurrectionist. And once you're convicted of being an insurrectionist, it's very explicit. I think it's Amendment 14 that says that you can't be a part of our government. It doesn't even have to say, like, president. Like, you can't even be a part of our government, period. And so he wasn't a viable candidate, and MeidasTouch didn't want her talking about that. So much so that they told her that if she wanted to talk about it, she was going to have to take a hike, which she did. She started her own channel, and it's a very good channel. And today she is live in Washington, D.C. I don't know if she's still live. We can check it out. And she's one of the leading channels covering the election fraud. There's a couple of big ones that are covering it, and she's a pretty big channel. She's not nearly as big as MeidasTouch. Christopher Titus covers it. I think Hal Sparks is covering it, the election fraud. That whole thing is just really infuriating. You know, all that BS about the 2020 election being fraudulent. kind of laid the groundwork for Democrats to say, well, we're not going to ever try to claim that our elections are fraudulent. And it's like, well, if you think they might be, don't you think you should? I mean, just to rule it out, if nothing else, just to prove that it's clean. Patricia says, I'm 63 and still haven't figured out which way do I turn my garden hose off. That's great. I know I'm always like righty tighty, lefty loosey, but it seems like things are wrong all the time. I know, it's frustrating, isn't it? When he was giving Felicio to the microphone, that's when I knew the election was rigged. Well, and he started saying things. I mean, I know that there was a direct message there that we can talk about if you want, so that people know. That was him. He's always accused Kamala of sucking people off to get ahead in her career. Okay, let's just be blunt. That's what that was trying to laugh about. That was the joke. It wasn't just that he was giving Felicio to a microphone. It's that he was slamming his opponent in the most vile, sexist, misogynist, immature bullying way, like freaking a junior high school boy. As if he's never had sex with anybody to get ahead in his career, right? I'm sure never. And I'm sure that nobody's ever had sex with him to get ahead in their career. No, never. I mean, he pretty much assaulted Stormy Daniels knowing that he could because she wanted to get ahead in her career and she figured that she might have to sleep with him in order to do that. They were supposed to be having a business meeting when he was wearing his bathrobe and forced himself on her. That's what she said in court. And that's... he was convicted of that. Anyway, where was I? Felicio. Yeah, so he was saying things like, I don't need your vote. I got plenty of votes. Nobody's ever said that in any type of candidacy ever, in any type of campaigning. It's not only about getting votes, it's about being positive. It's about creating a tidal wave and a tsunami of hope for your values and for your constituents. It's not just about you, mother effer. It's not just about you, which he's so vile. I mean, he's even insulting towards his supporters. Like, he laughs at them because he thinks they're stupid. Like, he's stupid, but who's stupider, He's so gross. So he has made so many comments. Like, there's that one rambling comment that he made about how multiple times he referred to, it doesn't matter how many votes you get, it matters who's counting the votes. It matters how they count the votes. And then the real specific comments that he made about how Elon knew those machines in specifically Pennsylvania, those vote counting machines. I mean, give it up. And that's why I say that the big E is like Obi-Wan Kanobi. He's our only hope, because if he were to come clean about tampering with the election results, I do think that we could get this madman and his disgusting gator ghoulish administration out of our effing country, out of our politics, into prison where they belong. I mean, they're so effing mobster, and they're trying to shut everybody up, people like me. I definitely believe that I've been shadow banned more heavily than ever because I talk about this stuff, and I don't effing care. Shadow ban away. I'm not going to quit talking about it. And when you shadow ban, it's just like when you scrub something, all you're doing is validating that it's accurate, because otherwise, why would you even waste your time focusing on it? There's so many other things to focus on, right? What was the name again of her channel? Thank you, Patricia Moss. It's called Jessica Denson. Lights On with Jessica Denson, if you want to type that in. And I'm so glad that I shared that story about that was a direct message to Kamala. So Kamala had dated Gavin Newsom, And she also dated another politician in San Francisco. She was a politician from San Francisco. But you got to remember that Gavin Newsom was married to Kimberly Guilfoyle. I have no idea if I'm saying her name right. Kimberly Guilfoyle was then engaged to Trump Jr. for 4 or 5 years, just up until about a year ago. Allegedly, during her engagement to Donnie Jr., she had an affair with Donnie Sr. About a year ago, Donnie Jr. was having an affair, uh, cheating on her. And then when Donnie Sr. was elected to be our world leader, or when he stole the election, let's just speak truthfully, then he appointed her to be the ambassador of his gold toilet in Greece. So she's the ambassador of Greece now. Imagine if she'd been around for the last 6 months with all this crap with Gavin Newsom and with California. She was married to Gavin Newsom for about 5 years, I think. I think it was roughly like 2001 to 2006. I'm not going to look it up on my phone because I look up too much stuff on my phone while I'm live, in my opinion. Anyway, so where was I with Gavin Newsom having a relationship with Kamala? It's not like she screwed him to get ahead. Sure, their relationship might have helped her get ahead, but they had a relationship. It's not like she just got into his pants to get a favor. But getting into people's pants to get favors is exactly what lobbyists do. That's what lobbyists do in politics, is they sleep with people to get their vote. But what was it that Donnie said to the Republicans that were not going to vote for his stupid, crappy BS bill? What was it that he said to them behind closed doors in the last 48 hours that got them to turn around? Was that, getting in bed with them metaphorically or literally? I mean, who'd want to get in bed with him, right? But maybe like with somebody that he might be married to or something, allegedly. Who the F knows? Laura Loomer. Blah. Oh, man. Anyway, there was a different direction that one of my thoughts went in as I was rambling on about that I wanted to go back to, if I can remember. I don't want to have to rewind my video to remember it. But it was something about the Kamala and the relationships, all of that incestuous stuff. It's crazy. It's so disgusting. So let's just say that Kimberly Guilfoyle did not have an affair with Donnie. Let's be fair. We don't know. But we know that the woman, Vanessa Trump, that Don Jr. was married to and had their daughter, Kai, who I think is like 17 or 18 now. That woman, who's now dating Tiger Woods, she met Don Jr. when she was dating his dad. That's so gross. That's so gross. So that was something that that was like reminding me what it was I was going to say about oh, dang it. I'm just under a lot of pressure with the baby sleeping and everything, I usually am more organized in my thought process, but summertime is hard. And with a house full of people, I've got all kinds of excuses. And I don't need an excuse. It's okay. But it was important, whatever it was about, Kamala had these giant freaking crowds at her rallies. And Trumpster Fire was accusing her of bussing people in and paying them $50. Like, no, that's not how it went. But why would you even think that somebody would bus people in and pay them $50? That's exactly what he did for that crowd of about 50 people on the escalator when him and his Melania wife were coming down the escalator on the day during the time that they were making the announcement that he was going to run on the Republican ticket, which was just a ploy to try to get a higher paycheck for his apprentice show, his reality show. He wasn't seriously thinking that he was running for president. He paid people $50 to show up and stand around the escalator and clap. That's how it all started. How many of those people that were showing up at his lame rallies when he would like ramble on and pretend to do oral sex on inanimate objects and talk about his friends' packages? How many of those people do you think might be paid? And I definitely don't want to lose track of mentioning the date. Today is obviously Independence Day, the 4th of July. And I was talking about Jessica Denson going to DC and showing footage on her channel of people demanding that this joke get booted out of office. But also, we're coming up shortly in 9 days. We're coming up on July 13th. So what was July 13th 3 years ago, 2022? No, what was July 13th 1 year ago, 2024? It was July 14th of 2023, I think, was when Trumpster Fire's baby mama expired, Ivana. You know, the one buried in the mud on his golf course at Bedminster, without a tombstone, without flowers, without anything, without like just dirt and brown grass, like not landscaped, no bench, nothing. It's really hideous. So I think it was 2 years ago. I'll look in my phone to make sure I'm getting that date right. I think maybe it was 2022. Maybe it was 3 years ago. Yeah, it was because it was 2022, but I will double check on my phone because last year it would have been the second anniversary of that tragedy. And the day before the second anniversary of the tragedy of Ivana unexpectedly becoming deceased, Mr. Trumpster Fire almost unexpectedly became deceased, allegedly from some 20-year-old Thomas Crook who like scraped his ear with a semi-automatic ammo. No, semi-automatic ammo would have exploded his freaking ear. Like that was staged. That was staged. The day before the 2-year anniversary of his children's mother and his grandkids' grandmother succumbing to ceasing to live. Like, was he jealous of all the attention she got, especially like on the first anniversary? Because anniversaries are very triggering. So last year would have been the second anniversary. I am going to double check it because I'm about 100% sure, but I would hate to be incorrect. Ivana Trump. And yeah, she passed away on July 14th, 2020 2022, July 14th. So she was in really good health. She was 73 years old. She lived in a lavish palace, basically in the Upper East Side of New York, pretty much by herself. And the love of her life had just passed away like 9 months prior. And that was Rossano Rubicondi. So they were only married for a year, from 2008 to 2009. But he was a lot younger than her, and she pretty much were in a committed relationship for the rest of his life after they divorced. It makes me wonder if the divorce wasn't just like a business move or something that they had to do to appease her ex-husband. Anyway, Rosanna Rubicondi was 49 when he passed away in the fall before she fell down the stairs in the summer. And he allegedly passed away from like cancer, heart failure, and something else. It was like 3 crazy, horrible things all combined. It was weird. It's like, it's usually like one thing. Like even if you're suffering from 3 things, you say the one thing, unless it's like a comorbidity that really did cause it. But let me just look him up real quick, because I want to know what it says as far as the pulmonary embolism is what it says here. That's hilarious. So yeah, it was a lung embolism. It was, so that's what pulmonary embolism is, sort of like an aneurysm, but it's in the lungs. But he also had cancer, and he also had heart trouble, allegedly, at 49. Dang it, stupid lamp, sorry. So yeah. So then let me go back to Ivana. She had been married 3 times. So she was married once before Donnie to the friend from Austria that they said they never consummated the relationship. Okay, whatever. We don't know if that man is deceased or alive, but we do know that the other 2 men that she was legally married to are both deceased, and the one that she was in a long-term committed relationship with that they never got married, he also is deceased. He passed away 2 days before Christmas in a single car accident in Italy when he was with her, when he was still with her. All 3 of those men were Italian, all 3 of the deceased ex-partners. It's very, very suspicious in my opinion. We could go on and on. Let's see. So let me give you their names. Riccardo Masuccelli is the one that she was married to from 95 to 97. And I think he was a lot older than her. And then she sued him for $20 million after their divorce because of a breach of an NDA, a confidentiality agreement. So she was married to Donnie for 13 years from 77 to 90. And then the guy that she was married to, Alfred Winkelmeyer, which was so that she could have a different citizenship. She was Czechoslovakian, and she was in a Nazi regime. Basically, she wasn't allowed to leave the country, except that she married this guy so that she could then travel with different citizenship to Canada. And then while in Canada was when she then, I think, I don't know if that's when she met Donald or when she started working in the US, but the thing about Alfred Winkelmeyer that's so weird is I have never been able to find out anything about him currently, not even if he's deceased or not. So if you look him up on Wikipedia, it's it just goes to her. You can't look him up on Wikipedia. It goes to Ivana. Yeah. That's weird. Anyway, again, the things you find when you're looking for one thing, but you find other things. And oh, you're so sweet. Patricia Moss says, you're a gem, Jazz. Been with you from the beginning. I know your name, my dear. I don't know what part of the country or the world you're in if you want to share, but I already asked that, so maybe you don't want to. I feel blessed to have discovered your channel. I'm sad for the people who haven't yet. They're missing out. Well, I think that, I used to have a lot of views on my videos. I used to get thousands of views on pretty much every video back in the olden days when I was in my first year of having a YouTube channel a couple years ago. And I don't get very many views now, and I think it's because I'm shadow banned. It might be because I'm stupid or boring or whatever. I mean, I'm being sarcastic. I mean, I know that I'm not stupid. I know that I'm not boring to most people. I'm sure I might be boring to some. But in all seriousness, I think I've always been shadow banned since I started with the Kylie Rodney case. And I think that the shadow banning has probably been getting more severe since I switched over to politics. It is hard to make a switch in your channel because the people are watching you for the content that you're putting out. So, going from true crime to politics, even though I don't feel like I went from true crime to politics, I feel like the politics went to true crime, basically. and the true crime became political, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm just not worried about it. I want my message to be out there, but it's more important to me to speak my truth than it is to try to figure out how to make sure that I get maximum views and all of that. You know, it is fun when you have more of a audience, but it also it comes with its perks and it comes with its caveats. You get a lot more trolls and you get a lot more attacks, and sometimes you can feel very unsafe. Those trolls can be very threatening. Like, I know people that have been trolled so severely that they've shut their channels down, and that's terrible. Like, don't give the bully what they want. you know but I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I mean, every person needs to make their own decision to do what they feel is best for themselves, and whatever that is. But I mean, threatening people is illegal, and threatening people on the internet is illegal. So it's hard to prosecute if you don't know who the troll is or where they're coming from. But law enforcement should be able to figure out with their own technology. Law enforcement, they all have their like IT forensics, and if you're getting threatened by somebody on the internet, you call your local police department, and they should be able to help you out with that. So, and if they can't, then they're not doing their job, and then write a letter of complaint to, I don't know, the city council or something. That, law enforcement needs to keep up with technology. So it's important. But it also is a curve, like a learning curve, because the technology is moving along so quickly. Let's see. Check out a video that Sloan did a while back. You know her. She did a reading on what happened the day to Ivana. It's a trip. I will check that out, Patricia Moss. I do know who Sloan is. I don't watch her a lot. I haven't watched her in a very long time, but I will definitely look for that. Thank you. I live on the coast of Oregon, moved here 4 years ago from Palo Alto. I actually worked for Elon a bit when he was actually normal. That is wild. Yeah, I lived in the Bay Area. I lived in Portland, Oregon, lived in Seattle area. I love the Oregon coast. Love the Oregon coast. It's so stormy, and I love storms. So yeah, back to Elon, back to the big E. Will he out the Trumpster fire? I mean, I think he needs to protect his fortune, because I think the Trumpster fire will literally rob him of every penny he has. if he doesn't get the Trumpster fire put in jail first. And we all know that Elon's broken a lot of laws too. I mean, all these billionaires have, and they can always buy their way out of trouble the way they do. But I would think that Elon has enough clever attorneys that he could throw the Trumpster fire under the bus where he belongs, you know, righteously and rightfully, and keep himself protected for the most part. I mean, he might get fined. He might have to spend a night in jail, but I think that he could negotiate some deals. That was a long time ago. I was in my 40s. I just turned 63 in June. Well, happy belated birthday. Almost the magic age for what? Medicare and Social Security that neither are going to exist. Sorry. Dang it. Where's our Dang It Nancy friend? I love her handle. Dang it, Nancy. So thanks for being here with me, Patricia. You've been carrying on a great conversation. And I'm bouncing the baby a little bit more. It's a good workout, right? I mean, there's times where you have to bounce him so hard that it is a great workout. It's like, feel the burn. Feel the burn. So, do you have plans for fireworks? I would imagine on the coast of Oregon, there's going to be a lot of good ones. When I was little, I grew up in Washington, D.C., and we always spent the 4th of July fireworks watching right on the grass below the Washington Monument. And I loved it. And I just, like, it was one of my favorite holidays. And I thought that that's what people did all over the world, was that they laid on the grass under the Washington Monument watching the fireworks above them. And it was devastating as I got older and found out that there was only one Washington Monument. And there was only people in DC that got to experience that. But most areas across the country put on phenomenal 4th of July fireworks. If you like the fireworks, I know some people don't. Some people could care less. Some people have a negative response to them. A lot of pets and babies have a negative response to them. But I love fireworks. I just don't like that they're so dangerous and that people always get hurt. And then there's always the drunk drivers too. It's terrible, isn't it? Absolutely terrible. And it is sad for the dogs too. So, you know, where we live, we usually will all go to the fireworks and leave the dogs at home, but then they're going to hear them. So I don't know. I was going to be meeting up with a friend at the fireworks, but maybe I'll have to contact that person and cancel to stay with the dogs and meet up with her before or after or something like that. Or tomorrow. A friend who's here from out of town. So, what is Elon waiting for out the little mushroom already, Patricia? I just got to say, I love you, dear. That's hilarious. Yuck. That's so gross. For anyone who doesn't know what Patricia's referring to, the mushroom is how Stormy Daniels described his manhood package. Absolutely gross. I feel for anybody who's got direct personal experience with that imbecile. I mean, what a douchebag. My heart even breaks for his kids. I mean, I feel like they all play him and play the part, especially the boys. And of course his daughters too, like the other daughter, the one from the wife in between the deceased wife and the mail order bride, that one, what, she married him when she was like 23 and he was like, I don't know, 49 or something, 46. So they have a little T, a girl who is just vile. She said so much plastic surgery to try to not look like Donald, try to not look so much like her dad. But she's a direct representation of him. They both look like lampreys. I'm just going to say it. They have the weirdest freaking shapes of their mouths. And Don Jr. has that exact mouth shape. And there was was like the French prime minister a few days ago who was making fun of the shape of Donnie's mouth in public. She like looked at his face and then she turned and went like that. It was hilarious. I'm going to see who it was. And Coco's trying to get in. One sec. Prime minister who made fun of Donald Trump's mouth publicly. The Queen of the Netherlands. It was a whole week ago already. So I'll put a link to that in the description. And he was unaware as Queen Maxima of the Netherlands mocked him on camera. So I hope she doesn't get run off the road now, Karen Silkwooded. But he's got the most disgusting mouth. I mean, everything about him is disgusting, but especially that mouth. And man, his brain is just rotten already, but it just is rotting more severely by the day. And people are pretending that it's not. And then the way he sits with the covering of the hand, the left hand covering the back of the right hand, and these fingers are always spread out very precisely the same. It's kind of like the here, let me close those fingers. It's kind of like the Spock or Nanu. What is that? This little guy is ready for his bottle. He's on a very strict schedule. And look, I've been on for 1 hour and 1 minute. So I might need to wrap up with my crew here on that little mushroom note, Patricia. So gross. So gross. So is there anything else that we needed to cover before signing off for the 4th of July holiday? So tomorrow is Saturday and then Sunday. I'll try to do a video over the weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to on Sunday. And then hopefully get back on a regular, more coherent and predictable schedule on Monday when we won't be having visitors anymore, sadly enough. But the house should be good and quiet so I can do my thing. So yeah, let me emphasize again the new merch. If you're interested in a beautiful Statue of Liberty t-shirt or hat or mug or sticker or what have you. And then, yeah, when things are scrubbed, we know that whatever it is that's being scrubbed, like you wouldn't be hiding it if there wasn't a reason to hide it. And I started the video with talking about the extreme networks that Kaylee G was working for. So I started to say something about Steve G and his career working with IT and just all the electronic information and data that this whole entire Idaho 4 case should be based on. Rock solid. There should be absolutely no problem in proving if Kohberger was the guilty party. So why would they offer him a plea agreement unless the whole thing can't be proven? Right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So I know you were talking, Patricia, about how frustrating it was for you to see these content creators that are just jumping on the bandwagon saying, I told you so, I told you so. And yeah, it's not about who's right and who's wrong. I mean, I've said it so many times, and I really mean it when I say in some situations I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong about corruption. I would love to be wrong about evil people. I would love to be wrong about our government administration being corrupt, evil people. I would love to be incorrect about that. Wouldn't that be nice? If only I could be so fortunate. My house is up high. You can see 3 different shows on 3 different beach from my back deck. Oh, Patricia, you're making me so jealous. Jelly. Some of my girlfriends will be there. They used to be Trumpers. Now they're not. Yeah, a lot of people that I knew that were in that camp are right with your friends, Patricia. People who thought they were always Trumpers are no more. And I think that he loses ground every day. But I think that he lost enough ground prior to the election that the elections are a complete sham. So, the more videos that I find, the more channels that I find about the lawsuits and about the statisticians that are covering that information with precision and integrity, I try to always put the links to those in the descriptions of my videos. There were 2 really good ones that I put in there yesterday. One is from the Election Truth Alliance, and the other one is from The Logical Leftist, which is a channel that I'm pretty new to. TTFN, Jazzy Zena. Oh, you're so cute. So you must be the Obsession Watcher too, to refer to me as Zena. Oh, the little munchkin. He's waking up. He says, it's time for my food, Grandma. Get with the program. So let me stand up and show his feet off really good as I sign off. All righty. Just the feeties. If I can sign up without knocking everything down. Where's the feeties? There's a baby foot. There's a real baby under there. There's a good foot. Oh, you just gotta love him, huh? See, 2 feet. He is real. I'm not fibbing, but I did knock my mic down, and I think I can put it back up as I sign off. And yeah, the yoga balls are the best for babies. Anybody who doesn't already know that, we've always had a yoga ball ever since we had babies. And my last baby was 13 years ago. She's 13 and a half now. My first baby is like 23 and a half now. All right, look, I'm not even on. Sorry. All right. Happy 4th of July. Love and light. Thanks so much, Patricia. You're the bomb. And have a really good holiday. Drink your water, eat your protein and your veggies. Talk to you soon.